What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Rook and the Kid podcast, episode 16. We are here with the kid and the medical guy. I'm the Rook, Jared May. Everybody else, you can introduce yourselves. What's going on?
Nice to see y'all.
Dallas Stars rep over here of sales, Jacob Clark. Hope everybody is doing good. We all got the True brand on today again.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we always repping the True brand. Saw a comment somebody said we were late, which, look, respectfully, I go on my time. So whenever I start the live is when the time is.
Is that your dad?
Yeah, that's my dad.
Yeah.
No, but he's yeah. Good stuff. I love that he's here on time for the podcast. Appreciate you tuning in. Well, we got a couple things rolling for you guys today. We're going to talk about the Jalen Hurts contract. He had a big whopping $255 million contract, which we're going to get into in just a second. Lamar might follow up with a deal of his own. We're going to talk a little bit about if Dak will get his extension pre or post draft. There's been rumors that the Cowboys are going tight end with the first pick the number 26th overall pick in the first round.
I know Jacob's happy about that.
We're all happy about that. And then obviously the return of the medical guy, which he will get into Dallas Stars later in the podcast because we requested last time he was on, yes sir, that we wanted to learn more about it if we're going to be repping the brand, obviously. And then later on in the podcast, Big T will be joining to talk about the Mandalorian, and we're going to cover all of it. So let's start off first with Hunter. You got some bets going on right now or what?
Yeah, I put about $60 in. I got about 4-6 legs going right now, and let's check them out.
I faded you a little bit on yours. We got some TikTok comments saying that voting on Counter-Strike Go is not a degenerate bet, which I don't know why that would be a controversial thing, but a lot of controversy on TikTok with the kids' takes on the Odell Beckham Jr. signing. That one was I didn't expect as many. I mean, people were saying that the kid knows nothing, that the kid is a kid. It was fun. We need to go on there and check the comments here in a little bit, but it's really funny to look at because, and we're a podcast that's going to reply to most people because we can at the moment. So best believe we clap back. But
hey, so remember I told you about? I said Vlad. I was like, is he gonna have a rebound game? He's due for one, right?
Yeah.
Boom! Just smoked one just now. So
home run.
Too recently, right? Because he hit a home run.
A potato.
And then
I mean, you're a couple innings late, I think.
Chris Bryant, he just started. I bet on him. He smoked one for a home run. Aaron Judge is about to bat. He's, playing like Aaron Judge when he doesn't want to hit the ball, so he keeps striking out. And we're looking okay. We can do some work, but we might win one.
I'll give you a little advice when you're betting on the Astros. The Astros put up 8+ runs. Go ahead, take the under on them the next game. Every time. Every time.
Yeah, Vladimir Guerrero, he hasn't been hitting too well. He's been struggling the last 5 games, and I saw his thing, and I was like, there's just no way he can't get like a double or 2 singles, or he's due for some hit.
You know what you need, bro? You need my mom to kind of put a blessing on it because she had this magical power back in the day when we were watching the Rangers and shit, where she would go, oh, damn, Josh Hamilton's due. He's 0 for 4. Wow. Home run. Oh, Elvis Andrus hasn't hit a base hit in 6 games. He's due for a hit. Man, this sucks. 3 for 4. I don't know what she's got. She got the power of Jesus. Who knows? But call my mom, but not in like a weird way.
So did she stop watching the Rangers after they went to the World Series? Because y'all have been down bad for a little bit.
No, unlike other people, we actually stayed faithful. The analyst who left the Rangers fan club and went back to the Astros when they started playing good. But yeah.
Right.
Bandwagon. Woo! Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, well, I went through those rough years of Wandy Rodriguez and
they only started talking about it when they started winning World Series. That's correct. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like everyone else. Yep.
Wandy
Hey,
Rodriguez.
simmer. I know.
Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you talk about it?
I'm a
when they
little
win World
older
Series?
than y'all, so I was there when they were Garbo and having to watch them on whatever Houston local TV show because they wouldn't put them on anything. They took them off of Fox Sports, Fox Southwest on channel 416 on
That was annoying. I remember that.
and you're having to watch them on like My 20 TV, whatever that station was, and it was just. But I mean, really, who are we watching? Like you said,
right?
Wandy Rodriguez, like Jordan Lyles, which he's still in the league.
Jeff Blum.
Yeah, he played for the Astros in like 2011 as like a 19-year-old, and he's still in the league at like 32. Like,
I bet you Aaron Judge is about to strike out right now. I guarantee.
Where's he at?
He's at a 1-2 count.
Brother,
He just fouled the last pitch. I literally just need one hit. If he hits it, I might hit a big bet today. I just need him to hit it.
Respect. Hey, did you post him on IG?
Nah, I forgot.
God! No. All right, well, let's
strike out, Booty. Let's go. Fucking bitch. Fuck you. He has 3 strikeouts today.
I hate betting.
Okay, sorry. Continue.
No, you're good. Let's get into Jalen Hurts, the Jalen Hurts contract. So, if you missed it, whoever's watching, we got Jalen Hurts signed a 5-year, $255 million contract with the Philadelphia Eagles, of course, including 23.29 basically signing dollar bonus, 179.3 million guaranteed with an average annual salary of 51 million. Also, in comparison to the Daniel Jones contract, we had, and this was laughable. I don't know how this happened, but the Eagles did a fantastic job with this. But the salary cap hits over the next 4 years. Daniel Jones in 2023, 21 million. The next year, 45 million. The next year, 40 million. The next year, 56. Jalen Hurts, the first year, 6 million. The second year, you double that. Then 21 million. Then 31 million. That's insane compared to Daniel Jones's contract. So, with all that being said, do we like the Jalen Hurts contract? Are we happy about it as Cowboys fans? What are our thoughts on that? I'll let whoever wants to go first go. Or guest, the medical guy, would you like to go first?
Let Hunter go first real quick.
We're going to let Hunter go first. Isn't that a good idea?
From a Cowboys fan perspective, I do not like the contract, but from a bigger perspective and just looking at what's going on, it is a great contract for the Eagles, especially for the next few years. That's like, of course, that's not what we did with Dak price-wise because, the market this is like the new market. But, extending him when he's still on his rookie deal, you can add up like the first couple of years of that new deal. It's going to, be a lot lower. And then, you can still build around because I believe next year, A.J. Brown's contract is like $19 million a year. All right, cap hit at least.
Yeah, I believe so. Let me check. Go ahead, though.
Yeah, so they found their guy. We all talked about it right after the Super Bowl. Like, when you played that game, you're like, is he their guy? And then watching his performance, like, there's no way they don't sign him or, go this. The biggest loser in this is definitely Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
And they're already starting to call him on Twitter "La Greedy" because supposedly he turned down 200. He turned down 200 million guaranteed, and he's looking at it like, well, look at Deshaun Watson, blah blah blah. It's like, okay, well, Deshaun Watson has like the dumbest deal of probably NFL history. Has all these charges and gets 253 guaranteed. And I know a lot of the owners were upset about it, especially like the guys who need to sign their quarterback, Bengals, Chargers, Ravens, and all that. But, I don't fear Jalen Hurts too much, but I do fear that they can still do a lot to this team, even losing pieces. They still have the money to go do something else and make a team like they did last year.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with that. Jacob, do you have a response to that as well?
Yeah, I think. First off, let's just say it seems like after seeing Jalen Hurts, play this past year and then play in the playoffs, it would be pretty not to pay the guy. I will say I would say that I probably would have waited another year, but at the same time, you can't blame him for getting ahead of it, because in another year, the two dudes off in the West, and Burrow and Herbert and all them are getting paid, and you're just gonna see the base salary for quarterbacks just bump up every 3 to 4 years or whatever, especially when you hit on a draft like that draft. And so, if you get out in front of it and you're paying them 51 or whatever it is going to be, I know it's going to be backloaded to the max, because of his first 4 years, he's not getting paid, but 15% of that contract. The last 3 years are going to be, I think the last 2 years, if you added it up, and it's not going to add up like that, but if you just looked at it from just a number standpoint, it was going to be like the last 2 years were going to be like 120 million or 140 million left on the contract or something. So I'm sure he'll probably play. If he plays how he did for another 2 years, they'll just throw another extension on and then be able to backload it some more and just keep playing and playing with a guy paid less than what he should. Now, the only problem is if he sucks, and then then you're kind of stuck. But that's the thing, is you can get out of it quick and not be in trouble all the way down the road. But I guess the biggest takeaway for me is to see how good he does with this roster next year, right? Because even though we talk about like Miles Sanders, running backs or off the ball linebackers, now you can get them wherever, it seems like, except if you're the Cowboys. And
yeah, right.
And so he was a big runner. I just want to see what Jalen Hurts can do when maybe his back's against the wall a little more, because I saw a stat the other day that he's only had 80 total snaps this past year when he wasn't in the lead in the regular season.
Wow.
And so you're giving a lot of money to a guy that played in front a lot of times, and that's their style of play, is they get in front and then they just wear you down. But I think it's smart of the Eagles to go ahead and get in front of it. You get out, say if 2 years from now it's not good, you get out and save yourself.
They did that with Wentz. I'm surprised they even made that decision to do that so early after they saw what happened with Wentz, because they signed him.
But you saw they signed Wentz and then they got out of it, and then what? 4 years later after they got out of that contract and they made it to the Super Bowl. So,
yeah.
It's not the worst thing, but you got to hit on it. If Jalen Hurts didn't work out, or they didn't have all that talent around him, then it'd be different. You just got to hit on it. And if we're being honest, like Jalen Hurts' stats this year, you just gave 179 million, right?
Yeah.
To a guy that threw 22 touchdowns in 15 games, because he got hurt for 1 or 2. So you're giving it to a quarterback, right? He had 7 more touchdowns passing than Daniel Jones.
Yeah, he had like a junior year of high school season like what I had. It was like I scored like 8 touchdowns off QB sneaks, and that's the same thing of what Jalen Hurts does. A lot of his rushing touchdowns were like inside the 3 with that QB sneak that's now being petitioned to be illegal. But my kick out of the whole thing as well has been Cowboys media. And they'll post like, this y'all paying, this amount of money. And it's, 16 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 22 touchdowns, 6 picks. And it's, this mediocre stat line. He's like, all right, context. You got to have context. Yes. And Jacob, you're exactly right. And I've always explained this to people when I talk about the Eagles. They get out in front and they keep the lead and they don't do anything crazy in the second half. They just keep it and run the ball. And Jalen Hurts is never – I want to see him play with a different roster, because this roster is going to be completely changed after this next year, or this year included. Gardner Johnson was going to leave for a moment. We thought Darius Slay was going to leave. What's it going to look like when he doesn't have the sack record being chased on the defense? What's it going to look like when they get rid of either A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith or re-sign Dallas Goedert? What's it going to look like without 3 scat backs that can produce like an RB1? What's it going to look like when your OC and DC are gone? Things are changing for them. They just hit their window right before you pay the quarterback. I'm interested to see what they're going to do. And this is not a bad contract by any means. I'm just curious, it limits your effectiveness in free agency and stuff like that. But your freedom to make moves exteriorly. But I don't know if I believe in Hurts, and it's not critical towards him. I just think he's had all his cards dealt toward him for this entire career, basically, or for this last year included. But, people, they criticize players like, Dak or Lamar or a player of that category, and you're like, okay, well, something's always been missing with Jalen Hurts. That year, nothing was missing. GM there, head coach there, weapons there, O-line there, sacks there, interceptions there. I mean, my God, and you couldn't fuck that up. Pardon my French.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, and I mean, because every analyst, every person that came out and spoke, talked about the Eagles roster was the best, up and down, both sides. I mean, outside of the head coach, I think it's kind of a weirdo. They had dudes calling plays that were top notch that immediately got jobs. After they lost the Super Bowl, it was like boom, boom, out.
Yeah, Sirianni was like, clip where he's like
talking about systems and how they're going to run systems. Well, yeah, we knew who ran the systems. It wasn't you, big dog. And so it's just going to be interesting to see, like you said, if this roster depletes anymore going forward. I mean, the O-line, the Kelsey and Johnson didn't even know if they were going to come back. And so, they're getting old. And just seeing, like you said, how it's going to look with a whole new staff. I mean, yeah, it's the same head coach, but you're getting a different guy calling plays on both sides of the ball. And, that's got to be tough. Now, we'll give Jalen Hurts credit. If there's one person who can do it, it seems like it's him. He did it in college 17 times, it seems like. And so, and then comes into the league, and that was a whole cluster with him and Wentz. And then his first year to actually start was kind of a doo-doo year. And he did what he needed to do to get them into the Super Bowl this year. And so, I mean, it feels like if there's a guy to do it, he seems to have the willpower and the winning mentality to do it. So it'd be cool to see how it pans out and whatnot.
Yep. Any closing remarks there on that before we move into maybe some Lamar Jackson talk?
No, y'all pretty much hit it right on the nail.
Perfect. Great. All right, let's talk now. Well, so I'm curious, and I did a little bit of research about, because this Lamar Jackson thing has been a huge controversy all offseason. It's almost gotten as much attention as Aaron Rodgers, which is a top 3 villain all time, which has been proven by the kid. But, Lamar is his own agent, and the media is portraying this as if he can't get a job. And I'm just like, no, that's not what's happening. You got to read between the lines. You got to look at the reports and actually read them, not just the clickbait. Because the clickbait would tell you Lamar Jackson turns down 3-year fully guaranteed deal, which the report was they offered him a guaranteed $133 million, $175 if he got injured, and a $200 million signing or whatever sprinting guarantee if he's on the roster on the 5th day of the 20, a bunch of complicated stuff. But it was fully guaranteed. And he's declining it. So it's like, but why? Is it because it's the Ravens? Is it because the organization won't help? Is he looking for more years? Is he looking for more guaranteed money? You know, and a lot of people think that the Deshaun Watson trade actually kind of screwed up the market. Which if you pay a convict like that, I think, in my opinion, I think it would screw up the market, but because he doesn't deserve to get paid. But
I think it was more of the fully guaranteed part.
Yeah, no, that's exactly the point I'm, getting at. But I want to learn y'all's thoughts on that as well. Just kind of like where y'all think it might be headed. Maybe a target guaranteed money, what he's looking for, if he's looking for more years.
Well, I was listening to something on the radio. I think it was either the Herd or something like that, whatever was on the radio. And it says like the team is looking for more of like it's similar like when Dak signed, like years wise, like the team's looking for like a 6-ish year, and Lamar's looking more of like a 4, because he's hit that 4 mark window, and then it's going to re-up. And so I think that's the biggest thing. It's going to be, obviously the guaranteed's been a thing. He's come out and said it and whatnot. But it's just going to be like Hunter said before, like, he's not going to just want to take like a 6-year whatever guaranteed when he can, go somewhere else, play 3 to 4 and make just as much money, or say they're going to pay, 5-year, $250 million or whatever guarantee or contract, and only give him 125 guarantee when he could go 3-year and just get 150 million guaranteed or whatever. And so that's where the weird thing is. Other thing is, I really don't think he wants to go back to the Ravens. If you've looked at it, how this has been handled, who's the real help he's gotten. And I know everybody's whatever about OBJ. Sorry. Whoa. But like,
dude, I'm using that from now on.
I did not expect
I thought that was so well like said. Like, no
I did not
just,
expect that to come
OBJ, like,
yeah, basically,
awesome.
but just how OBJ's like career has panned out in the last 2 years. Like, he was weird with the Rams. Yeah, he scored a touchdown. It's like he scored a touchdown in like the last, I don't know, 5 games, but he had like 22 catches and like 200 yards or something in the last 5 or 6 games. Then he gets hurt. Then he doesn't play for a year. Then he leads the Cowboys on with a whatever kind of chase. Right. And we still don't even know if he can pass a physical. And that's the help you've given your quarterback. Like, you lost Marquise Brown to the Cardinals. You've got Mark Andrews, who is your number one target. Rashad Bateman's leg was in half. Duvernay, I didn't know who that guy was until like week 8 of fantasy football because there was nobody to throw it to.
Yeah, that's a
Longhorn legend.
That's a Longhorn legend right there.
Yeah, okay. And you've seen how the Longhorns have been in the last 15 since Mac Brown was there. And so it's just like, I don't think Lamar really wants to go back to the Ravens, especially if they're not going to help him on offense or pay him what he wants, because he's going to have to play the same style of ball where he has to risk his body all the time and run, 18 to 20 times a game, it seems like. And then when he has to pass, he has to throw it to who? Like a guy that can't pass a physical? Like, that's a big time.
So since you're on here and you're the medical guy, can you explain to people about the OBJ report of the ACL, where he said he didn't have an ACL and then he said he tore it?
Yeah, I don't know what goes through his mind when he says things. But like, you can't tear it in 2021, have it come out as like a full medical diagnosis, and then in 2021, 2022 be rehabbing for an ACL tear, and then all of a sudden in 2023, like, hey bro, I didn't ever have one. It's like that. it's just tough to hear. Like, but then like someone says that and you go ahead and give him a 1 year, 15 guaranteed up to 18 if he catches what a top number 2 would make. Like, come on. Like that makes no sense.
Yeah, that was my argument when I had the incentives earlier. I'll pull them up. But when somebody was talking about that, they were like, "Oh, dude, he's gonna like be electrifying to the Ravens. It's like a steal, blah blah blah." I'm like, "What?" And then I said, "Wait till me and Hunter were like, wait till the incentives comes out." So we looked at the incentives and we're like, "What?" So they're gonna give him an extra $3 million to basically do half of what a number 3 could do, or what a number 3 could do in a full season. You're like,
yeah.
What?
I think Michael Gallup had like 52 catches this year. And we all know like Noah Brown had like
60
catches this year. It's like, so you're giving him a few million on doing that?
I know it's like
star player.
I know the last of his incentives in each one. So it's like touchdowns. It's like 9 touchdowns, or he leads the team in touchdowns, and in yards, it's something low. I know the catches is like 60.
Here, I'll put it up
top.
for you guys. I have it right
here. And it's like, or leads the team in catches. It's like, wow, that's like,
It's gonna be crazy when Tyler Huntley's throwing the ball.
Here it is. For catches, he gets an extra $250,000 for 30 catches, $500,000 for 40. He gets $1 million if he gets 60, or if he leads the team in catches.
Yeah, it's always about like if it's like the main like the highest number, or like if he leads the team, which is insane.
And I don't know, from someone that's about to go into the workforce, it's kind of funny like looking at this, because you're like, incentives is like, oh cool, there's incentives in football, which is nice because it seems like it's a job. But with yards, 1,000 yards. He's not getting 1,000. I'm sorry. Somebody said, and it's actually the same person. He was like, if he plays 12 plus games this upcoming, and the kid was in there. He was like, what do you mean if he plays 12? Are you saying that he's going to get hurt? Because like we were just criticized on TikTok for saying he might get hurt, like preying on his downfall. I was like, no, when you tear 2 ACLs, there is not just one question mark, but probably 7 where you're like, I don't know. You just said you didn't have an ACL, but then you said you tore one. If something's not there, then physically speaking, and in reality, you shouldn't be able to tear anything. But it's like, dude, you're not making any sense here, Odell Beckham Jr. So
yeah.
Yeah, some interesting incentives here. It's almost, it's like an incentive for a wide receiver 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, on the Lamar thing, like I agree. I don't think from what it seems, I don't think he really wants to stay in Baltimore, but I don't know also where he would go. Mine has always been like Atlanta. They don't really have a guy. They got Desmond Ridder. San Francisco, he would probably really thrive in that situation. It's a run first offense. He's got so many weapons that he doesn't have to throw far downfield for, which every quarterback has seen since they've been there. All their receivers. Actually, Hunter could probably speak to this really well, as he always has said that this is their scheme. It's true. That when the ball is thrown, even if it's like at the line of scrimmage or behind it or a swing pass, whatever, their receivers are running routes and they're blocking downfield before the ball is thrown, which can create spaces and run lanes for Lamar. But Hunter's mentioned that before. He might be able to explain it better than me, but if you want. But
are you talking about the Niners?
Yeah, the 49ers. And Lamar going there.
Yeah, he would, because they don't run anything really deep. They're not throwing. What?
No, I'm just.
Y'all gave me a look. Did they not throw deep?
You said that. Never mind. Just keep.
Yeah, go ahead.
Keep going.
What the fuck is so funny?
Hey, keep talking about the deepness of their playbook.
Oh yeah, it's so deep.
Yeah.
You said, man, it runs really deep.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah, they don't really, throw the ball deep, but like they'll run like a drag at 10 yards, and then they'll run a drag at like 15, and then they'll throw the drag at the 10 yards and have the guy at the 15 running the 15-yard drag blocking downfield by the time the ball's caught. And if Jimmy G could somehow figure it out in that system, like why could someone like Lamar not? And then it would honestly probably make Debo better because Debo is basically a running back, and he's not doing any real receiving threat.
Thank you.
If Blade sees that, then Ligma. But yeah, I think Lamar would fit. I don't think they would pay him because they already have a quarterback to the injury history, and then Lamar's playing style would just kind of, defeat the purpose. If that makes sense. You already see Trey Lance. They got Trey Lance for the, how athletic he is and how much he can, his like throwing power, but he can't even stay healthy for less than 2 quarters. Like,
yeah. So, and the 49ers quarterback room is an absolute mess. It's like no man's land. You're like, okay, we got Purdy who did this, and you got Lance. Well, we drafted him. We gave up all this capital for him, and we just lost Jimmy G, which I guess that headache's gone now. And now you got the draft coming up, draft next year, and they're like, Brock Purdy's got a UCL problem. I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want those issues if I were. So I could see one of them getting moved, but who knows? Do we see a Dak extension in the works? I would assume it will be post-draft. They've declined to speak about it as of late. I know that like Jalen Hurts is like the start, is like not the slippery slope, but the start of something to where more quarterbacks are going to get paid. So once those quarterbacks are paid, I would imagine, in my personal opinion, that when that happens, Dak will be paid. Now, where, for a small extension, where though he fits in that margin, that's what I'm unsure of. I'm not sure how far down closer to number 1 he gets after the previous season. But do y'all see an extension coming? Do y'all think it'll be this year and then we'll see something, or maybe not see something, or what do y'all think?
Kozo?
Yeah, I think it would be smart to give him an extension. Yeah, it would be smart. I'd say if you gave him a 3-year, what's a good number, Hunter?
Does he have 1 or 2 more years left?
So he signed it in
2021 for 4 years?
He's up for free agency in 2025. So he's got this year and next year. So if you give him a 3-year extension, right? Say you throw a 3-year, $120 million extension, right? And you could say do 100 of it guaranteed. That's easy.
That's 40 a year. You get 100 guaranteed.
That keeps him.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
That would keep him to essentially 2027. He'd be around 34, 35, if you could believe that. And, we would know by then, like, hey, if he's 32, 33 and he's not it, it's like, okay, well, we can get out of it. Just kind of like we're saying with Hurts.
So they said they haven't spoke about it, and there hasn't been really too much talk about it. Extending him, I guess they've seen Dak with like Amari and CD, and then this team this year on paper is probably one of the better teams we've had. Even last year was a good team. Besides, maybe like the offensive weapons and Michael Gallup not being the same. So if they're not too sure if he's the guy for a little bit longer, and he's like what, 29, 30 years old now? It's about to turn
29 in 27 days.
29. So
Jesus.
if they're gonna give him a extension, I feel best that if they did it after next year, even though it would cost more, at least you know what you got him in the offseason, because it's the most aggressive offseason I've ever seen. I think a lot of Cowboys fans, you hear like the older ones, your grandpas like Jacobs, where they're saying, I haven't seen them like this since the 90s, you know? And you go from, if he can do it with this group, then yeah, I say extend him for another 3 years, and, you know, he's going to get that money worth, you know, paid like the lump sum of the extension, but hold off on it. Maybe just one more year. Let this season play out and see what we can do with someone like Brandon Cooks, and even with the draft coming up. You know, they could still draft very well like they usually do. So just let's hold off on it just one more year, especially when we got Kellen Moore gone. You're not sure who was a problem there, and you know you got to give him time to see what this team can be this year. Yeah, give me the look, but
no. I was gonna say I can see both sides of it, because I just laughed because you said like the two things that we always explode over, not explode over, we always are in pause, but like the two things that we talk for hours over is Kellen Moore and whatever that one was, like blanked. But I can see both sides of it, because he's at that range, age-wise, experience-wise, playoff appearance-wise, where you're just like, can he do it? You know, because like, can he do it? Now, this is the year where, in my eyes, I see he's got, if Gallup is actually worth a crap, you know, and 2 receivers can be enough, but if he's got the weapons on paper. He's got the defense on paper. He's got the defensive coordinator. Everything's there. It's lined up. And if this season he can't succeed, then, like I've said before in previous podcasts, you know, it's tough to find a scapegoat for that. Not like I'm looking for one, but there just always seems to be one that's obvious that's not Dak, in my eyes. So when you pay him this year, you know, it's right before he turns 30, and that's in that category where it's like, okay, you're either taking a risk and you're riding with this guy, and this is going to be pause, and this is going to be your guy for the next 3 or 4 years, and he's like, if you pay him, this is your franchise guy. This isn't just like, hey, he's been paid once and we're done. This is your franchise guy. He's going to be there for 10 plus years. So it's a big decision in the long run. Well, I wouldn't mind waiting a year. However, I'm with Jacob, because like we just saw with Jalen Hurts, get out in front of it so that you don't have to pay him. Let's say he gets greedy. Let's say he becomes Dakota Rain greedy Prescott and says he wants to be paid like the top 5. You know, that's something that we don't want to happen. We want to.
Well, the thing is, where I mean, it's like if he earns it, it's different. Like, I mean, Jalen Hurts. Yeah, his team was really good, but when it came to the push and shove in the Super Bowl, they're going to give him what he wants initially, because everyone saw that's like one of the great Super Bowl performances we've seen, even though he didn't win.
Yeah.
That's like the bigger goal. If Dak can, you know, the defense, like I said, on paper with the moves they made, looks good. Brandon Cooks on paper looks good. They still have they still have a first round pick. They can, you know, and like we always talk about, the Cowboys are usually pretty good about drafting, except, you know, you got like the Taco Charlton and what's the Gator roller name? Taysom Hill or Tristan Hill?
Tristan Hill. The Gator roller boy.
If he's willing, you know, if he gets far with this team and, you know, you watch the games and Dak's doing his thing, yeah, extend him for, obviously he still has more in the tank, and yeah, it's going to be more money. But now you've seen him without the weapons in 2022, and now in 2023, when you have someone like Brandon Cooks, who is good, but he's not great, it's like, okay, let's get it going. Dak, you could be here for another 3 to 4 years. You know, he's getting to that point where people are like, is he a top 10 quarterback? Is he a top 8 quarterback? Is he a top 15? Like, there's a lot of question marks. Is Dak's one of those people in the quarterback talks where he just moves so much in it, where you just don't know which Dakota Rain Prescott you're going to get time and time again. You know, it's not the most consistent quarterback. He has the high ceiling, but also he has the shit ceiling with the 50 feet of dog shit. You know, it's always up and down. And after this year, I think it'll say a lot.
Say it's a little harsh. I don't think he's ever been the 50 foot of dog shit and lower.
There's been some games where it's bad. It's not
Well, you
all. I
can
didn't
say
say
that
all,
about any quarterback, my guy.
but I'm saying it's more of like a exactly. I'm not just saying it just for Dak. I'm just saying there's been times where he's below that. I'm not just saying that just from Dak because I understand people have their bad games, but it's just like I'm more talking about the inconsistency of what you're going to get week in, week out with Dak. He's very hot or he's very cold. There's no really in between with it.
Agree to disagree. We'll leave it at that. But I do agree, and I do like your point about waiting a year. I can understand that point as well. Especially like you said, if he comes out and just balls out this year, it's going to cost more. But if he's that guy, then pay him, kind of thing. And you've moved off the, $17 million we were going to have to pay for another 2 years for our running back, and then. We're about to start losing some of these older guys that we don't have to put on contract as well. So, no, it'll be interesting to see a couple of years. But I agree with y'all that this is kind of like this needs to be a big time prove it year for Dak.
Just the whole team in general. Everything looks good on paper, everything. So now it's really just up to the Cowboys. Like, what are they really made of? Are we going to be the still team who can't win a second round playoff game, or are we going to do something about it? And they look like they want to do something about it. So now everything's there. Now we just guys let it ride out.
This isn't the very, very briefly. This isn't the prove it year everybody else thinks of. This is can you be a Super Bowl caliber quarterback?
Yes.
This isn't like can you prove to be competent in the NFL? No, that's been proven. This is like can you break the curse? Basically, is what we're hoping for. So.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Good points on all fronts there, gentlemen. And then let's briefly get into this. We've talked a lot of draft already, but there's been some speculation that the Cowboys will draft Michael Mayer. He's been mocked at 26 overall for the Cowboys by Mel Kiper Jr. There's been a lot of tight end talk. Earlier, it was Dalton Kincaid out of Utah, but then he has a back injury or something. He didn't participate in a pro day. So I don't know what's going on with him, but I think Dallas kind of wants to avoid that. I would too. What do y'all think? Would y'all want Michael Mayer? I mean, I already know y'all's answers for the most part because we talk on the side, but like Michael Mayer, I mean, what grade would you give that, I guess? What letter grade would you give that if we went Michael Mayer?
You talking to me or Jacob?
It doesn't matter. I mean, I can give it first. Pause, but
why don't you go? Why don't you? You haven't gone first yet. Why don't you go first?
Sure. Just because you said that, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Good talk.
Dude, I'd give it a C-. So the reason why it's kind of in the middle is because Dak's actually never really had a tight end one. He had Jason Witten, sure, but that's when he was 40 years old and ran like my dad currently. Like the dude was runs like Schultz, if you want to be honest, slow as hell. But, he's never had a number one caliber tight end. And if we can get one, I can see a small positive, result there. But in terms of value, which we're not a needy team right now. We've got Ferguson has shown like very good promises. We've got Hendershot that's right behind him. McKeon is kind of a nice little utility guy. So it'd be all great and all to have this spectacular metric tight end for a team who can block well, who can get open well, who has great hands. But since we're not a needy team, we don't need to be drafting needs in the first round. We need to be drafting value, the best player in the first round. So with that being said, if you got somebody, even if Bijan is there, that's not a I don't trust that. I don't want to. We've already seen the first round running back. We just hopped off of it. Pause. That's 4 for me this podcast. Good Lord. But you know, if in the second round would be a good one, like to maybe get a running back. But I just the Bijan thing, like, you know, we're basically franchising Pollard, which I get it. He might be just like a rental for this year because we may not pay him long term. But what if we pay him long term? You know, then that's our guy. We don't want a second guy behind him eating the spaghetti out of his reps. But
I would say I do not see the Cowboys ever signing a running back long term ever again.
Thank Christ.
I do not see it. And that's kind of where like the NFL is going. You know, they're just like after these running backs like McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, you know,
they're gone.
Yeah, like they're those guys, like now they're saying like, okay, because you know there's stats for everything now. Like the last Super Bowl winners, the 49ers, I mean, they traded for McCaffrey, and McCaffrey, you know, they played very well with McCaffrey, but they didn't win. And then, you know, you see reports about Derrick Henry going to the Cowboys, which is dumb. Like, why? That's stupid. Like, no.
Yeah.
Like, if real Cowboys fans, which we watch all the games from first play to the last play, we've seen Malik Davis. Like when he gets a chance to play, you know, he was running pretty well against those that tight ends front. And you know, when he plays, you know, I see him get like 5 or 6 yards a carry. And when a guy's only getting paid like a Walmart gift card in Takis, like that's good. That's good value right there.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, and real short, and then you can go back to talking. But with the Titans, I mean, that's no defense to trifle with, too. I mean, they had like a top 3 run defense, so to see him succeed against them was huge.
Yeah, it's like, you know, just like one of those things. Like he didn't like pop off, but just like if you watch, like he had some very good runs, and that defense is not known for guys just gashing them like that because they got like big old Jeffrey Simmons down there, and yeah, he is. Which I did see a report today. I mean, it's not a real report. It's just more one of those things. Quinnen Williams did not go to voluntary workouts. I saw someone suggest the Cowboys should try to trade for him draft day. And absolutely. I would love that one. I would be like, screw that first pick and screw our second round pick. I would be like, you know what, we'll take him.
Well, here's some methodology and that we can apply to this because Brandon Cooks, we were trying to go after him this previous year or during this past season. We were trying to get after him, and we couldn't get a deal done until the offseason when they made him available again. We made a deal for him. Years ago, we went after Quinnen Williams for reports and rumors that we were trying to get Quinnen Williams in a trade. They decided they wanted to keep him. Now, hindsight's 2020, he's back in the mix. I can see the Cowboys making a move. I think it's actually could be a real possibility. You know, just historically looking at
what could be available on draft day to people who could be traded. He would be the only guy I would consider trading for. Who is available? Because I know we definitely have to give it the first round, and I mean, if you think about it, if they end up trading for A-Rod, which we don't even know what's going on there, they could give us Quinnen Williams, and they can have our first round pick. But like, here you go, like you got rid of your first round pick for A-Rod. Well, here's another one. Just give us that stud down low, and if we get him, I will go on record and say Dallas will make it to Super Bowl if we trade for that guy.
Oh, that's bold.
That guy would be the missing piece.
We have a curse on us, bro. That is bold.
I said only if they make that move.
Yeah, I know.
Because that guy is the missing piece of what we need on that defense / team. That's the only hole.
The Cowboys are like the opposite of Jesus. Like, I believe Jesus is coming back a second time. Like, that's like a no doubt it's happening. The Cowboys, it's like the Cowboys, it's like I don't believe it until it happens. And people are like, oh, the Cowboys are like, this is our year. I'm like, no, I've told people for 5 years I haven't been that fan.
I mean, I don't like saying that anymore either, but
not anymore.
Because I get shit for it. I'm like, dude, I'm just gonna enjoy, and I'm gonna get pissed when playoffs comes around again. And you know, it was like, hey, it was a good year, but we didn't make it. We weren't good enough. It's like, right now, it's like, it's right there. You know, it's like there's no excuses. We got the coach. We got everything. It just, can we get it done? That's the part I'm worried about. Not who we have. It's just, can we get it done?
Yeah.
Take a swig of water.
But I agree. We all three agree about the 26th pick. You just look at the history for like the last 15 drafts, and like a tight end going in the first round, like, never works out. Like, Kyle Pitts was supposed to be the second Shannon Sharp or Tony Gonzalez or whatever, and like,
everything.
Now I get, like, he played for the Falcons. They were, but like, I mean, he was supposed to bolster that wide receiving core as a tight end that could run a 4.4. And like, dude, people have been. It seems like he just hadn't been there. And I get it. He's played with, you know, the corpse of Matt Ryan and Marcus Mariota and Desmond Ridder, but like, I mean, he didn't make him any better. So it was just like, you wasted a first round draft pick on, like, wasn't he the number 8th or number 4 overall pick or something like super high?
He was like number 4.
Yeah. And so, and his metrics were out the roof. So I can't, dude, if we go tight end first round, if we go tight end or running back first round, I might cry. Like, legitimately, I might email Jerry himself. Just a strongly worded email.
Hey, would you send an email to Top G and just be like,
I'll let
like, yo, man, look, this is what's going on in my life. The Cowboys, they suck, and I just need some motivation to like overthrow Jerry's empire, please.
Yeah,
or David Goggins.
I'll leave that up to y'all too. But yeah, I do like the Quentin Williams idea. I'd be all about that. And realistically, in the draft, if we could I'd say, like, when we had the analyst on talking about interior O-line, like, I feel like that's got to be the way to go. And first, if that's the way to go, and if it's not, trade back, because like, why not acquire another second and a third round pick instead of just like throwing a first round pick on a guy that, you know, isn't gonna, like, if we're not gonna get interior line, like Hunter said, we're not gonna try to get a wide receiver that's not gonna be a number 1 or really a number 2 now. I don't want a tight end. I just do not want a tight end, and not a running back. I mean, the only other positions I could think of is like, if you went that are just absolute difference makers, or if you went, I don't think you'd be able to get a DN, like a pass rushing DN that late, or unless you went defensive back, which it kind of makes it tough when you go out and get a Stephon Gilmore to be your number 2. And so you're essentially right there at wide receiver or DB. You're essentially picking someone to be your number 3. And I'd rather not waste a first round draft pick on a number 3 position.
Which is why I liked what Hunter said about, you know, giving a first for him, because that Pittsburgh guy, Kalea, I think is his name, or Brian Brees, like, those guys are now getting mocked way in front of the 26th pick. So it's like, who in the interior defensive line is going to be there? And then as far as interior O-line goes, the guy I've seen mocked a bunch is Steve Avila from TCU, which wasn't bad. But then I feel like he can make it to the second. But, like, for sure can make it to the second is what I would think. Who knows? But, I would be much more happy with that. Where it's just like, here, we got our guy. Like Sam Williams, we kind of reached on him, but Lord knows he's going to be a dog.
Yeah, he seems like a dog.
High hopes for him. So yeah.
Because he looks just like Micah Parsons.
Oh, dude, it's identical. It's like two pit bulls in the backyard, and then like a 5-year-old kid walks out there to celebrate a birthday, and he just gets mauled by it, you know. But they have a tendency to do that, bro. I'm telling you. Oh, by the way, Hunter, do you see our bets? The ones we faded off each other. The Jarrett, whatever his name is, and Jalen Brunson were 0.5 short each.
Wait, which guy was 0.5?
There you look. Jalen Brunson scored 20 points. His taco was 20.5. Jared Allen, which his prop went up, so you got gray on yours. Yours was 10. When I did mine, it was 10.5. So you got 10 rebounds. So I got 2.5s in the same bet. But of course, ironically, all the ones I've been correct on is baseball. So fuck the NBA.
Well, looks like I might go 5 for 6 on 3 of them and 3 for actually no, 3 for 5 on 1. So I might go 5 for 6 on 3 and 3 for 5 on 1. Damn, that's crazy. Because fucking Aaron Jones could not swing the bat today. I needed one hit, and he couldn't.
What was his name?
Aaron Judge.
There we go.
Couldn't hit the ball.
Surprised he bet on a Yankee being an Astros fan. I don't bet on one.
It's tough, bro.
Yeah.
What's the next segment? Looks like a pretty fun one.
Well, the betting NFL and NBA and baseball, they're way different because NFL, most games mean everything to each other. NBA, there's 82 games. MLB, there's like 162. So I'm like, I don't care about baseball until about July. That's where it starts to get a little, games start to matter. So I'm like, yeah, let me bet on Aaron Judge randomly in the month of April. And he usually hits. That's the thing.
Dog came in hot earlier on the start of the podcast, talking like mad shit about the Rangers. I don't care about baseball until July.
Yeah.
Come on now. But I get that in that sense. Yes, I get your point. But like earlier, I was just talking whatever.
Yeah, I see. You smartly chose not to put anything about baseball in here, so that's good for you. It's good for you.
I want to talk about it. Like, yeah, we need to talk about it soon. I'm not shy to talk about it. And I also, like, don't act like I'm thinking the Rangers are going to win the division. It's just nice
the rest of Dallas sports media thinks they've won the World Series.
Oh God!
And you already saw Mr. DeGrom.
Oh yeah.
Blister right there. It's already it's begun.
Yeah. No, I get it, and that was a main concern for DeGrom when he came in. But like for the Rangers, they're just watchable now. You can go out there and they've got 6 good hitters. They've got 4 good pitchers. They got a bullpen now, which credit to you guys. I think we got 2 from y'all's bullpen. I think it was Will Smith was one of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Will Smith, and y'all got Jake Odorizzi, but he had shoulder surgery, so he won't pitch this year.
Yeah. That was another one.
Yeah. I mean, you could ask anybody I've talked to about baseball. Like the Rangers being good helps, especially the AL West, because
What is that? Okay.
If that is who I actually work with, I'm gonna be. There's no way.
Slide in some DMs later. Anyway.
Yeah, talk about sliding some DMs. Okay. But hey, hit up my Instagram here. I'm gonna put it on the screen right now.
I've said it for a while that the Rangers are the Rangers were literally a couple of arms away, because last year they actually were a top 5 team in offensive runs, but they were a bottom 5 team in ERA because me and you were pitching for them out there.
Literally.
And so it really is. I do love that there's another team in the AL West that actually goes and does like the Athletics. Like, dude, that's so bad for baseball for you to just do something like that. And like the fact that the Athletic, and this is a whole another tangent, but the fact that a pro baseball team, professional baseball team, can't put in more than $2,000 in a like 2,000 people in a stadium on a weekday game, that's a joke. That's a joke. And so I love that the Rangers spent $500 million on a couple of dudes that can swing it, and that y'all, spent another $500 million on arms that can throw, because it just makes the game better, and it makes the rivalry. I mean, it's not fun just okay.
Jared, when you saw that comment,
Hey, okay, but it just makes it better. It just makes it better for baseball, and then the AL West just to be more competitive and for the Rangers to be good.
Oh, but yeah, I mean, like I saw one. It was the Guardians in Detroit. There was like 100 people at their game yesterday or something like that. I'm like, there's just some teams. Like for a while, there was nobody to buy a jersey for the Rangers. It was just like, yeah, I just want a cool like baby blue jersey, and it's like there's nothing else. But I saw one was the 2019 Astros roster. Oh my God. Every guy in your starting offensive lineup, you could buy their jersey, and they're probably top 10 in sales. And there's 9 people in the lineup. I'm like,
and they also World Series that year.
Yeah, I'm just like that's fun to watch. And people act like I don't actually cheer. Like I'm from Houston, so when Houston gets in the playoffs, I'm going to cheer for Texas. So I go for the Astros when they're in. Now, if the Rangers win, it'd be the opposite. But I'm a Texan, so like I like to watch Texans win. But so it's nice for the Rangers to actually be watchable. I've actually watched 4 games already this year where I'm just like, this is fun. But anyways.
Yeah, I bet on DeGrom and he already got hurt. I was like, dude.
So you did it.
Yeah. Yeah, bet on him, and it was like, why does he only have like 12 innings pitched? And then it was like, oh, he threw a no-hitter, but he left the game in the 4th, and I was like, good talk.
Yeah, well, it doesn't really matter if it's no-hitter if it's 4 innings. So, somebody did an April Fool's joke on the Rangers thing that said he had that he had like a what's it called? A soreness in his arm or whatever. Is going to be out for like a month or 2. And here we are 2 or 3 weeks later, and he's doing that, whatever. Hey, what do you think of the Cowboys 30 years ago compared to recent Cowboys? 30 years ago, I wasn't alive, and I believe they were playing in Super Bowls. So obviously, being in the 90s, watching on a square TV with Tetris as your main video game and Tekken with a joystick, which.
Hey, bro. Hey, chill out, dog. Your boy's coming up on 30 here in a few months. Chill out with all that.
But you know what the joystick games are, huh?
Yes, bro. I know what the joystick games are.
You like that? No. But...
Hey.
I'm just playing. Okay. So, but it's obviously they were winning a lot more. So, of course, 30 years ago. Plus, there was no inflation, and the world wasn't coming to an end. So that was probably nice. But yeah. Hey, now we actually watch it on television, so that's nice. Or a laptop, or a phone, or an iPad.
Yeah.
Anyway. Thanks for the comment, Amanda. I'll get a quick lick later.
Who the hell is Amanda?
I don't know who that is.
All right, let's get to
Don't lie.
Me?
I'm just kidding. I don't know who the fuck Amanda is.
You know me. You know everybody I talk to.
Do I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're at no.
Hey, yo.
Hey, yo, what's going on?
I don't know who Amanda is. I'm assuming it's who we work with. It used to be, but
no way. Oh, no way.
There's no way. It's got to be a man. It's got to be a dude.
A man. Duh. Here we go. Let's get this next segment in.
Yeah. Any differences in how players played back then to now? It's more physical. Head ass. Oh my lord. Look at this.
Sheesh.
All right. Well, let me get this new one started. So, track ranking segment. We're gonna do the other guys scenes, and we're gonna rate them 1 through 5. I'm gonna do it to Cuzzo, pause, but he doesn't know what's coming next. So I'm gonna list one. He's gonna rank it 1 through 5, and the next one will come, and blah blah blah. So Bo-Katan.
Oh,
We get a lot of comments now.
What?
Who is this? Is this someone you know, Jacob?
No, it's not.
Hey, don't get him in trouble.
No, it's not. I don't know who it is.
Oh my gosh. I'm responding. Like any players, if they play different back in the day, I mean, I would say they ran a I formation for the most part. They were a pro package. They were physical football players. It wasn't a passing league. So that's one thing. The new ones are getting the vaccine. So.
Jesus. All right, here we go.
All right, let's go. All right, so the first one, you're going to rank it 1 through 5, wherever you please, and you get it. Okay, so, all right, number 1, all scenes with TLC quotes. Don't go chasing waterfalls.
That's going to have to be 5 for me.
Number 5. Okay. All right. Number 2, the Gator story.
Oh, that one's good.
They gave me the name Gator.
Gator's bitches better be wearing Jimmy.
Better be wearing Jimmy's. Whose baby is that? Who did that to you?
Gator ain't never been about that. Oh my gosh. Oh, dude, I know there's gonna be better ones, so I'm gonna have to go with 3. I'm gonna have to go with 3.
Pimps don't cry.
Shut up. Oh.
All right, number 3. This is going to be a controversial one. Despot.
Oh, dude.
Be very careful.
Why is that controversial?
Because I don't know where you would rank it. I don't know.
Oh.
Everybody views the movie.
I thought you were getting political again. Oh man, I'm gonna take my chances and go with number 2 on that. Okay. I feel like there's gonna be you got a better one in the waiting.
All right. Next would be Dirty Mike and the Boys. So that would include. So it's Dirty Mike and the Boys were like, "Hey, you guys want to join us for Old Bluster back there in the red Prius? We got a jar of old mustard." Blah blah blah. That scene and the scene.
Some B's and some A's.
Yeah. That scene is connected with when they find everything that's in the car.
Yeah, we found a deep vagina.
A snake ate itself in the back seat. And some unscratched lottery tickets as well.
That's a good one, but I'm gonna have to put that one at 4.
Okay. Oh, that's what I was afraid of.
Dang it.
All right. Number 1 is the granny scene where he's in the the street and he's talking to his granny about how bad he wants to do his daughter or her daughter. She might have been his. I don't know.
Damn it! I do not want to put that on number 1, but that's my only spot I have left.
It's tough.
Now seeing all of these, if I had to switch, it would be Desk Pop 1.
All right.
It would be Gator 2.
Yep.
Dirty Mike 3.
Such a good movie. You can't really. It's hard to rank them.
Yeah, it'd be TLC 4, and then Dirty Mike, and then Grandma 5. One of the favorite, I guess, my favorite parts of that movie is when it's like, when they're driving in his little water electric vehicle, and he's doing that, but they pull up to the scene and they like run through everything, and the other two guys, the Wayans brother, when he says at the crime scene, LOL, and they're like, Good tweet. And it's just like one of the stupidest parts.
Looks like Scarface shit on your car.
Yeah.
Yeah, my Prius shit one of these last week or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that one. And then it's like, what do you think I did? I took the belt off around my neck and got out of there. What can I say?
Dude, that one, me and Ryan, me and the analyst, that's our favorite. Anytime let's say I had a night out, whatever, and I wake up at the crib, I said, he was like, you know what happened? We got split up last night. I said, dude, I took the belt off around my neck, got the hell out of there. I thought I was going to shoot my way out. Like,
oh, dude,
that one. And you can ask him this, and you can ask Hunter this, because I've said this in front of him before. Every day I wake up hungover, which, sorry, Gramps, if you're listening to this, I do drink. I'll wake up and I'll be like, damn, I got so drunk last night, I thought a tube of toothpaste was astronaut food. Every single time.
You're an idiot.
And Ryan has to listen to it. I said, at the bachelor party, I said, hey, Ryan, aren't you glad I didn't say, and I said that quote again. He was like, nah, you just ruined it. But that'll definitely be in the speech.
Dude, me and my buddies, Brandon and Ruben that comment, my buddy Cody, dude, we will quote that movie all the time. All the time.
Yeah. Well, it's tough because Hunter's is Step Brothers, which is an incredible comedy.
Yeah.
And it's like mine, like my Step Brothers is the other guys. I'm like, bro, the other guys, then like I'm quoting it all day and night.
Oh, dude, I'll say stuff just in front of people. Nobody knows what's going on. I'm just like,
exactly. I've been in that situation a lot, especially at work. I'm just like,
yeah,
just jar of mustard. And you're like, what? I'm like, never mind.
Oh, dude.
All right,
Great
well,
movie.
good list. So we had the final result, number 5, all TLC quotes. Don't go chasing waterfalls. I don't want no scrubs. Number 4, Dirty Mike and the Boys. Number 3 was Gator. The story of Gator. Number 2, Desk Pop. Number 1, the Granny Scene.
Yeah. That's the one me and my buddies quote all the time. I don't know if y'all have seen them all as much as we did.
I know that.
But the Rush Hour movies. Oh my God. Go back.
Look at me all sweet and sour chicken ass.
Yeah, just go back and watch the Rush Hour 1, like on Netflix or something where it's like unedited and not, super woke, and just watch it. Dude, it is so funny. So funny.
Yeah, I've seen clips of them, and they've always been funny. The one obviously that everyone always knows is that "Not you, him," or whatever. Yes. Yeah. So, all right, well, let's get into the Dallas Stars, and then we'll sneak into Mando with Big T. So, me and Hunter requested to learn a little bit about some hockey because we want to get some Dallas Stars gear, go to a game. We're trying to buy into the brand. So, what you got for us? I don't know where you want to start. If you want, we could. I don't know how you want to start it, but I want to learn.
Okay. Oh, we'll break it down for you real quick. Let me break it down for you. And so there's 2 conferences, right? There's Eastern, Western, bunch of teams. And Stars are in the Western Conference, and they were the number 2 seed. So there's 2 conferences, 6 divisions or whatever, or 4 divisions, and they were number 2 in their division. Okay, and it really came down to the wire with the Avalanche and the Stars. But anyway, they're in the playoffs right now. And the thing with playoff hockey is that the rules change from regular season hockey. So big difference is in regular season hockey. Because y'all know anything about hockey?
I know they got a power play, and I know once the power play has kind of been like the new kind of like super scoring version of hockey, where it's become basically like the 3-ball in NBA. Yeah.
So in hockey you have 3 periods, 2 intermissions. Okay. Yep. And then in regular season you play 5-minute period of overtime. Okay. And it's first shot wins, right? Well, it's 5 minutes overtime hockey, 3-on-3. So you just have 3 dudes out there on each side. And so in the regular season, it's literally just a madhouse when you get into overtime. Okay. Say you don't score in overtime, you go to shootout, and it's just like in soccer. It's just like it's either the luck of the draw or like you just have a stud goalie. Okay. And in playoff hockey, where it's different, is you don't then go into a 5-minute overtime. You take a full intermission and you play a full period, 20-minute period of 5-on-5 hockey, 5-on-5 hockey, and it's first goal wins. And so last night, Dallas Stars are playing the Minnesota Wild, who, little history, the Dallas North Stars used to be up there in the north with them. Okay. And so they have like a long history rivalry thing going on. So it's a pretty nuts.
Okay, so they're rivals.
Yeah, pretty nuts rival. And the Wild also finished right behind the Stars in the Central Division, right? Okay. And so when I say so with hockey, it's more of a point system than a win-loss record. So yes, you win more games, you obviously get more points, but if you win, you get 2 points. If you lose, you get 0 points. If you make it to overtime, you automatically get 1 point, win or loss. Okay. And so the Stars finished above the Wild by 5 points. So literally is a 2.5 game difference. So it's like they're really good teams.
Yeah.
And so, but anyway, they played double overtime last night. So you essentially played 5 full periods of hockey. So the game went to 1:00 and whatnot. And if nobody scores, it doesn't end.
But fans are just screaming yes, because it's that's more hockey to watch. It's wild.
Yeah, it's sudden death. It's so nuts. And so it really is just a lot of fun. And so
goalies are sweating bricks, It's they're getting shots flown at them. Pause.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think Ottinger stopped 55 shots on goal. So there's hundreds of shots thrown at him, but 55 made contact with him. And so he only gave up 3 goals out of that, and it was really kind of a bullshit ending, but whatever. But the playoffs, you've got your normal teams that have been in it for forever, the Avalanche, the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Bruins. So the Bruins in the Eastern Conference, they broke the all-time wins record this year and point record. So they play an 82-game schedule.
Okay.
The Bruins had 65 wins.
Jeez.
Yeah.
The 2018 Warriors, is that the year they went 73-9?
Yeah, it's very similar to that. Their goal for to goal against differential was 128.
Good Lord.
Yeah, so they're just beating the shit.
So what happened? Did they make trades to other teams to just kind of make a super team, or how does that work in hockey? Do you kind of inherit a team that's in the region, or is there a draft?
The Bruins have always been they've always been good.
Yeah, I have heard that.
And so, they have a top 5 player in the league right now, and David Pastrnak right now. He's a 60-goal scorer and whatnot. But they just have dudes all up and down that lineup. And if there's one thing, a position that can really just carry a team, that's a team sport that can really carry, is if you have 2 good goalies. And they have 2 goalies that are just dogs. And so it doesn't matter who they throw out there, you're gonna get a number 1 goalie type of experience each time. But anyway, but you got your usual teams, the Avalanche, like I said, the Knights, the Stars have actually been in it the last few years, Bruins, Maple Leafs, Lightning, Hurricanes, Devils, all them, Rangers. The Rangers are kind of a team that made a lot of big trades there at the trade deadline, ended up getting Patrick Kane, the longtime Chicago Blackhawk. And so you can no, we're not from Canada. Eh?
We are from Canada. We are from the great old state of Texas.
But yeah, and so that's the thing. But and then if we're going for star players, like for the stars, you got like when I was talking about big time goalie Jake Ottinger, uh, big time dude. He last year when we played the Flames in the playoffs, he had what did he set like some record for like amount of goals stopped in a playoff loss. I think it was like 60 or something. It was something nuts. Like he gave up one goal out of like 62 shots or something crazy. And so the big thing with the Stars this year is they got rid of their old head coach, Rick Bowness, who went up to the Winnipeg Jets, but he ran a totally different style of hockey. And so very defensive, very structurally, just not make mistakes, not really push the puck, kind of be patient with your offensive zone type stuff. And so we didn't really score a lot of goals, where this year it's opposite. Not complete opposite, but definitely more offensive mindset and whatnot. And, we've kind of got our big three, right? So we had like I guess when Hunter was talking about, I guess last time he kind of watched and whatnot, I guess it was a little before, but we had like Jamie Benn and Tyler Sagan, who are a little older now, but like are still good. But now we have, Jason Robertson. We've got Rope Hintz, Jake Ottinger. Those are kind of our big, like.
I've heard Jake Ottinger.
Yeah. Those are kind of our big three guys. And like Jason Robertson, he was, so what they have is called the Calder Trophy. He was like, which is like a rookie of the year kind of thing. He was finished second in that a couple years ago, had a 40-goal outing last year, had 47 this year. He set the record for amount of points scored for a Dallas Star in the history of the franchise. Finished second in the whole history of like Dallas and North Stars. And so he's good. Rope Hintz is good. So they got a lot of good talent, and then they got a lot of good people that they have in their farm system that have been really good. We have a 19-year-old on Wyatt Johnson playing this year that, I mean, like this dude is so young that so one of the guys on our team is like 38, and this Johnson kid is so young that he stays in that guy's guest house. And like learning from him and like stuff like that. So it's kind of really cool how they're able to do that.
Yeah, that boy can't have any McDonald's when he goes home after a game. He's like, what are you doing?
Well, I mean, the guy that he stays in his guest house or whatever has like a 13-year-old son or something like that. So it's like,
are they friends? Hey, you want to hop on COD tonight?
But like when you look at this kid, and I call him a kid, but he's literally, I mean, I guess almost David's age. And
I mean, it's weird thinking that now. I mean, I'm 23.
Yeah. Well, when you look at him compared to the rest of like the hockey lineup, you're like, holy shit, that's a kid out there.
Yeah.
And the fact that you see like a kid that's, 6 foot and 160 pounds soaking wet, like out here playing with guys that are playing with other hockey players that are just like, they look like these tough grown men. It's like, it's kind of crazy. But yeah, the team's getting younger, and they really are looking pretty good. And then I like the last part, the game experience. I'll put this on whatever you want. Best sporting event to go to out of any sporting event out there. Okay?
I want you to put it on Nipsey Hussle.
Okay, sure. Put it on Nipsey. Yeah. I mean, you go in there, everybody's wild. Everybody's all in. You're not having people that are just like there. Like you could go, like you don't know anything about hockey, because I didn't get into hockey until shout out to Heather, until I started dating Heather. And so about 5 years ago. And they were pretty good that year, and they went to the playoffs, and like my second or third game to go to was a playoff hockey game. And that's like the most intense of intense you can get with a sporting event. I mean, think American Airlines Center is where they play, and I think it holds up to like 18,600. There wasn't an empty seat. And like they put like the rally towels and like all these green bracelets and shit down, and like everybody gets one. And like when they're doing like one of the craziest things I've ever heard is like, so when they do the national anthem and they say the word stars, right?
Yeah.
And like bright stars, right? The whole arena yells stars.
Oh,
And
that's
so
live, dude.
Dude, it's just wild. And
Hey,
so
Trak needs to go.
Yeah. And so the other thing for a thick guy, right? If he's sweating a lot, you go up in there, it's like 62 degrees at all times.
Oh,
so
yeah.
like you could go in there with shorts.
Winter
And
attire.
say if you went in there with like shorts and a t-shirt, you're gonna get chilly. Like you're gonna get chilly.
Respect.
Okay.
And so it just really is a super, super cool event. Everybody's all in about it. Like there's no people just there to be there. Like if you're there watching, especially I guess in Texas, because Texas really isn't that big of like a hockey state. Like when you go there, like people really care about like the Dallas Stars hockey. Like they're in there and they're like all about it. And so, and just learning some of like the history about it, like the certain quirks that they have that go on at the game and stuff is pretty cool.
That's
and
awesome, bro.
Yeah, dude. It's
Well, my only question is with like the draft. Do they have? When is their draft? Do they have one? And like, is it like a lottery based draft or?
yeah. So it's not. Well, I can't remember if it's a lottery based or not. But
I don't even understand lottery that much either.
Yeah, it's this summer, and so, but like, it's kind of weird how it's different how they do how hockey does the draft, because you could draft somebody at like, or have draft somebody at like 16, 17, 18, whatever, like, and then be a stud, where you're going to draft them. Say you draft a kid at like 17, you're sending them to a different league. It's not like you're going to send them to your minor league. You're sending them to like your Ontario league, your league overseas, your league up in Canada, wherever. And you're going to see how they play against a bunch of other people. And if they make a roster invite, then they play, it's like spring training in a sense.
Okay.
And so like
Wyatt
Johnson this year, they didn't expect him to like necessarily make the team. And so like, but just to get like experience against other pro guys, see how they were. And like, he ended up balling out, and they were like, he had like I think it's like a 10-game window, and like he balled out in that 10 games, and he stayed and earned a contract for this year, where if he didn't, he has to go back to his junior league where he plays, where he would play the rest of the year. And so I can't remember who has the first pick, but I mean, whoever gets the first pick is getting some player who's going to be like an absolute stud. His name's Connor Bedard. And like, if you just go search him and look at his stats, it's like let's say like a Mike or like a Bryce Harper when he first got into the league, right?
Okay.
Like that dude was in like a different, like 17 years old, like screw high school. I'm going playing JUCO. I'm wrecking JUCO, and I'm going to the league at like 18.
Yeah, this boy's 17 years old.
Yeah, and he's playing with other people, and it looks like he's playing against JV players when he plays.
Okay, so the Anaheim Ducks have the first pick.
Yeah, so
and they're already saying they're going to get Connor Bedard.
Yeah, so they're going to get him, and they'll draft him, and he'll play the first game that the Anaheim Ducks play next year. Like, that's how good. Like it's literally like he's shown to be that good in a different league. And so, I mean, it's just like, he just looks like he looks how like Wayne Gretzky made people look. I know I'm not trying to compare him, but like how Wayne Gretzky would play, and just like, you could look at him and you're like, oh, that guy's just better. In the league that he's in right now, you're like, yeah, he's a different animal. Like when you see like those pictures of like those random kids in Louisiana that are in the 8th grade with like a beard and like a 6-pack and like 6'2", and you're like, why is that guy playing football? And it's like, oh, he's really 14. It's like, okay. And it's like that. He's good. But yeah, overall experience for a hockey game is like so much fun, and it's so loud. Like they play. I'm actually going to be at the game tomorrow at 8:30.
Okay.
It'll be on ESPN, and like,
be like, hey, like do a selfie with you and Heather or whoever you're going with, and be like, hey,
It's
out
gonna
here
be
repping the Trak pod.
Yeah, exactly. I'll wear this little, and yeah, I'll do it for real. But it really is super cool, and it'll be packed, and I'll get wild.
Might have a Bud Light while you're there.
No.
Hey, I saw all jokes aside, I saw Troy Aikman's beer is being shipped all around the area where I live right now.
Really, the 8 beer?
I'm actually intrigued to try it. Have any of y'all had it before?
No, I haven't had it. It looks cool though. I like the can design. I've never tried it though, but the can.
Yeah,
I've
never tried it either. I met a guy. He actually was fixing my truck, and he was like, some guy my dad went to high school with. He was like, yeah, I tried the 8 beer in Dallas or whatever. I was asked for a Yingling, and I was like, all right, how was it? Tastes like Coors Light or something? He's like, yeah, it's a lot like Coors Light. It's probably, but it tastes a little bit more authentic. I was like, count me in. I said, how much was it? $8? He was like, yeah, it's kind of fun. But all right, well, I think that covers the Dallas Stars. Which thanks for running us through all that too, because I've been wanting to get into merch for the Dallas Stars. I've been told that the games are electric for years. I just never really got into it. And if I lose one sport like NBA, like I stopped watching that in like 2018, I want to gain another one. So
yeah.
Over the plus I want to be good at betting at hockey. So
don't we all?
A D-Gen bet.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're about to get into some Mandalorian talk. The kid, I believe, is departing. Yeah, the boy has some work that needs to be done. Any closing remarks from the kid, aka Hunter Poole?
Let me know if y'all find out who Amanda is, and then we'll talk from there.
Oh, well, I don't know if she's even still in here, or it, or he, or whoever it is.
Brother.
They. Thank you.
Brother.
All right.
Y'all have a good time.
Farewell.
Nice chatting with y'all.
All right. Later, bro.
All right. So, well, welcome back. A returning guest. He's been on the podcast before. He is our Star Wars and basically our entertainment specialist, along with the medical guy. But Big T, Travis May, is making a return to the podcast. So, welcome him on to the pod. Welcome in, Travis.
What's up, boys?
Give us an hello there. Give us a hello there for the chat. Hello there. She said, "I'm really a female." I don't know if you've seen this shindig going on, but
yeah, I've seen a few of Amanda's texts. Who is this woman?
Looking to my understanding of the sports. Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm
well,
sure.
You've come to the right place. Although we're talking about Star Wars now, so.
Yeah, sorry. If the sports,
this is where it gets nerdy. Yeah.
Good thing we have 15 other episodes to where you could sharpen up on your skills.
Yeah.
Or you just backtrack this one. Yeah. But all right, let's talk Mandalorian. Welcome in, T. The latest episode, I would say, has been the best so far. However, the series so far, in my opinion, has been kind of just too much buildup. A lot of it has been like side missions where, the Mandalorian factions are kind of split up, and then like everyone is kind of been the same almost, where you can kind of watch the beginning, and then the whole middle is just this small side story, which we don't know if it has correlation yet. I'm assuming it does. And then the end is like back to Mandalorian. So you're like, I could literally just watch the first 5 minutes and then go to the last 5 minutes, and I've got my Mandalorian episode, which would still make up over half the episode because a lot of them are like 30 minutes. So you're just like, which has been very frustrating. But I think the other reason that I've been so upset about it too is because like I was told that Jon Favreau was doing this. I may be completely wrong. Is doing this season the way that he wanted to do it finally. And I may be completely oppositely wrong, but I was expecting it is the opposite. Okay,
Yeah.
then that makes complete and total sense because when Grogu's baby ass is in there, it's like that Hawkful from that video where it's like everybody's hopping on his little baby dick, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, especially Xander.
Get your boy,
you know,
dog.
You know, hey bud, you got a stereo problem? You know, like
Xander, get your boy, dog.
that's what Grogu has been in this series. I'm like, dude, just go, bye. I get it. He's a baby.
Well, so the good and bad thing about Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, and it goes back to even like Bad Batch, Clone Wars, all that, is that they really try to align everything with the movies, like the trilogies. And so thing is all these side quests and stories are then all aligning to show how, you know, all these new armored, they're not Inquisitor guards anymore, but I can't remember what they're called. These Beskar armored things that show up in, you know, the Force Awakens and all that. How, you know, Chancellor Palpatine's able to clone everybody. How, you know, they're going to start using this for like, you know, the mind control, memory wiping thing. And so that's where it's all going to come into play as he's trying. And that's what it looks like as he's trying to do again. Because like, for an example, in the Clone Wars, he had to make all those episodes around Anakin never actually face-on-face meeting General Grievous, because in the movie Revenge of the Sith, that was his technically first time to see General Grievous.
Right, yeah. Or he's like, you're shorter than I expected.
Yeah, and so we went 7-8 seasons without, you know, Anakin ever seeing General Grievous, which has to be tough enough as it is. And so that's where I think he's going with this, is he's having to do everything to keep that all in line and on track.
Yeah, General Grievous said hello there first.
Don't ruin this for me, Travis. Don't ruin this for me.
There's a couple of things. Give me 1 second. Actually, my computer's about to run out of battery. Apparently, go.
Yeah, no big deal. Be right back. I'll put him back on. I'll put him back on in a second.
Make sure you draws, bro.
The boy's got it. Boy walking around with like some undies. He said, "Hold on a second." Gets up. It's like tidy whities. Like,
all he's got is a shirt on that says, "Oh, hey, yo, whoa, whoa."
Like, whoa. So that was awful whiff the last time I did that, and I was like, yeah, that was funny. But no, so this latest episode is where things finally get interesting. And I've just been like, you know, Moff Gideon apparently is going to be the recurring villain. And last time we talked about this, we had thought that, you know, maybe perhaps it could be Darth Maul. But, you know, like the point Jacob has made, and you're a lot more knowledgeable with the small and finite details in Star Wars than I am. But, you know, he's trying to align it with the movies. And that's very tough to do because the movies may not be exactly what everybody wants to see. But then again, if you made it to what everybody wants to see, people would go, wait a minute, that's not actually what happened. You can never satisfy everybody. But then at the end of the day, it's like Game of Thrones. The season 8, the book wasn't even finished. And what happened? Everybody was like, this sucks. This is the worst season ever. Like, why did they change Jon Snow's verbiage to just, I am your, or you're my queen or whatever? But he didn't even finish the book. So why make the series? Or why make that last season? So with The Mandalorian this season, it's just been a lot of buildup. And I think in the back of my mind, I was thinking about it. I was like, I think the reason that they're doing this is because season 2 ended at such a basically huge drift and turn to where it was like, okay, we're going in a completely new direction now, which needs a new story. We've told the one of Mandalorian. You know who he is. You know what his purpose is. He finished his first quest. Now we got to build up this new quest. So this is basically like a new season 1 for the most part. But it's just more, you're in a better groove. He's got his armor. He's got his equipment. It's the Darksaber. Mandalorian's returning and rebuilding. So it's quite interesting if you think of it in that regard.
Yeah. There's the reason why this season has been so boring and terrible, I guess, is just because there's been a couple of creative issues. Most of it, I know that most of it is because of Disney. They need to get away from Disney. George Lucas basically signed a contract to the devil. That's what he did. And they've just ruined Star Wars ever since they put it over. I mean, movies and shows and stuff for Star Wars have never actually been very good movies. It's just the story behind them has drawn people towards them, because the mystery of Star Wars is such a huge universe, anything could happen. And the Jedis, the clone troopers, Empire, all these different things come to account to where that's what keeps on pulling fans back, I guess, is their love for the story. But whenever people are doing this and have differences and they screw up Star Wars just because of a couple of petty differences, that it just gets annoying. And Kathleen Kennedy is also a part of that, and I think she should be gone. They finally threatened her this year and said, if you don't make another movie within 2 years, you're gone. So 2025, obviously there's going to be movies coming out. So she's gonna.
Those movies sound like they're just gonna be shit too.
Yeah, they're gonna screw it up.
They said they came out and said it was like it's gonna be a story about how Rey is gonna begin try to remake the Jedi Order, and it's like, give me a break.
They need to stop going into the future. Like Rey needs to be gone. Like who cares?
Rey already said the actress already said she didn't want to return, I believe.
She said she didn't want to return. John Boyega said he didn't want to return.
John Boyega didn't want to return because they didn't make him gay. I remember, quite literally, him and Oscar Isaac was like, I really wish they would have explored like a homosexual relationship. I can pull up the clip, but it was like a homosexual relationship with Finn. I was like,
yeah, I would have.
Hey, bro, Jerry got some 5-inch instincts on tonight, huh? You about to go to bed? What?
Yeah, I got the remote. I was like, and then went to sleep.
Yeah,
bro. Yeah.
So
what are we doing?
It's tough.
But yeah.
No, I'm actually sorry.
No, go ahead. No, I kind of was rambling.
I was gonna say the only movie I would actually be excited for is the Dawn of the Jedi one. Is where that one is actually kind of interesting because that's 25,000 years basically when people discovered the Force.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's kind of cool because I don't even know that story. So I would love to hear something like that. And Dave Filoni's going to be creating something like that.
Yeah.
I think it's Dave Filoni. It might be another guy, but that is interesting to me.
I hope they cast Ryan Gosling.
Well, I think it'd be cool if they started going back into like you said, so long ago, and then start getting into all the old Sith. I think those provide like a better story than some of like the Jedi, like the Darth Nihilus. I don't know if you've ever read about him. He's like the ultimate.
Boy, looks scary.
Yeah, like the ultimate just Sith. And how do you not just make a story about him? Like, not everything has to be a hunky-dory, light side force. Like, hey, let's see him kill some people. Let's see him destroy worlds. Get people going.
Let's have 2/3 of a trilogy be, oh shit, we're gonna die, and then have a third one be, this is the rebuilding of something. There's hope, exactly.
And there's hope, and then there's another Death Star. No, I'm just
Exactly.
And
Yeah,
then
then there's a
he-
second Death Star.
I've
They can
had
blow up
it-
2 planets at once.
And then,
I've had it with the Death Star. No more Death
And-
Stars.
and then he shows up when you think there's hope, and he rips your head off, and there's no hope again.
Right.
And
Exactly.
then
It's
we
like-
do it again.
Yes, exactly.
Well, a good movie would be like a lot of people have been wanting to see this now. It's like a culture change, I guess. But the new Batman, it's like, dude, he didn't win. Like the entire city got flooded, but
Oh, you
through
ruined that.
that,
one.
as a hero, we became.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler
You haven't
alert.
seen it?
No, bro. I haven't watched like Marvel or DC stuff in a minute.
Oh,
After
this
they
isn't
came out.
DC. This is like, it's
Is this the
Batman.
Zack
is
Snyder
DC.
one?
No,
Well,
this is
Batman's DC.
No, this is the Robert Pattinson Batman with
Oh yeah, I
Matt
haven't watched
Reeves.
it yet.
Well, it's still
Yeah.
DC. It's not DC universe, but it's still like
Yeah.
that's Batman.
Yes,
But yeah, that
it's like
movie's
Christopher
pretty good.
Nolan's.
All right.
But anyway.
what are we giving our? Let's give some predictions on what we think this last episode is going to be. Because for me, this last episode has to. I know they said it's only going to be like 39 minutes.
What?
This has to be an absolute banger.
This is the
I'm-
last episode of the season?
Yeah.
Man, when's the season 4 come out? By the time
Probably.
Ukraine invades? Or Russia? Sorry.
Didn't Mandalorian, he got captured in the last episode, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that big Paz Vizsla got killed.
Dog.
After he defended everybody getting back. That was pretty badass, that part.
Yeah.
We have new stormtroopers who have Beskar armor.
Yeah.
Moff Gideon has a Beskar armor suit. There's a lot. I've seen a lot of things, a lot of controversies. People have been saying that and I've been thinking this too. That the what's her name? The forger, whoever she is.
The armor.
The armorer. That she is the spy. And because she has, the horns in her helmet, and she used to be a part of Death Watch, and they asked her about Death Watch, and they were like, she was like, Death Watch is no more, but they even brought up like stuff about like, that's funny. They even brought stuff about, back in the Bible, Judas was sitting right next to Jesus. And in the show, the armor was sitting right next to Bo-Katan, saying that he was loyal to her. So there's some signs that say like, hey, she is actually evil.
I've seen an alternative theory to that. It's the light skinned girl that had like the black hoodie when they first saw her.
She's hot.
Yeah, but I've seen that. I don't remember the theory in depth, but I've seen that she's the spy.
I can see it. I mean, she's been shady since the whole season.
It was like a
out.
foreshadowing, and I remember one scene. Another one was where Mando said, "I've been basically tasked with a quest to bring Grogu to its original owners," and then she like completely buys into Grogu as she's like eating her squid or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, really? Okay, now I'm interested. I'll help. So I'm thinking that either her. And of course, the one that works for the New Republic, the short-haired dyke, like that person will probably is already a spy. She's already working, which was confirmed in the latest episode. But I didn't see the one with the armor. That's interesting.
Yeah. So to add on to that theory is like that the armorer being the spy is that she originally doesn't want Mando to explore Mandalore, right?
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't want him to. And then she's conveniently not there when they get trapped in that room, right? It shows the one scene she's flying away. But I've seen a lot of theories, kind of thought of some a little bit on my own. But I think it's pointing kind of to the armorer being the spy. I read a theory to where they actually think Moff Gideon is actually Mandalorian, and which is why he shows so much interest in the Darksaber, shows or knows so much about the history, and so he's going to do kind of like almost a Thanos type thing and come in, and then how he knows how to forge or use Beskar as armor and whatnot, and he's going to do like a Thanos type thing and like wipe out all the ones that are following these people, right? And then go try to rebuild the Mandalorian clans on his own. And that, basically those pirate people that show up in that last episode are the spies, right? Because like, how are you just all over Mandalore, right? And don't see like the bad guys just flying all over the place, building a base like on the city. Like
that does make sense. That makes a lot of sense.
It just kind of gets weird. But that's kind of what I'm thinking. And then to go back to the mind eraser part, right? I'm hoping this doesn't happen. Kind of hoping it does.
Oh,
so you know how they captured Mando?
Yeah.
Wipe his memory, right?
Oh,
so then he forgets all about, because they show that they can kind of control how much memory you wipe or how much brain you fry or whatever, and just eliminate the memory of like the clans and Grogu and stuff. That way he goes back to just the way and goes back to kind of like the badass he was, aka the Mandalorian kind of thing.
Hey, low key, it would be kind of a badass scene. And we got a comment here. I'm about to show it. I just want to. I wanted to finish this point, but low key, I think it'd be a really badass scene if they did that to him. And then the opening scene or the ending scene of the final season is Mandalorian walking up after his memory's been wiped and saying, "I can bring you in warm, or I could bring you in cold." And then it cuts the scene, and it's like, oh no, like. He doesn't remember anything. He's back to just being a bounty.
Are you saying like he's being sent by like Moff Gideon? He like got a job from him to go get Grogu?
No, like since his memory's wiped selectively, so where he can't like, he doesn't remember Grogu, doesn't remember the Darksaber, nothing. He just back to working for the guild.
No, that's what I mean. Like, what if he got a bounty to go get Grogu from Moff Gideon, but he doesn't know it's from Moff Gideon, and then he goes out and says, "Yeah, exactly." Then he says that in front of the Mandalorian, whoever. And I feel like that's a possibility.
Because I think it's gonna get back to, because right now it seems like they're trying to paint the whole picture of like Bo-Katan being the Mandalorian, right? Yeah. The Mandalorian that brings all Mandalorians back as one. And I think they're gonna try to do something to get the storyline back to just Mando.
Yeah,
I hope so, because I'm kind of sick of, all this stuff. Oh yeah,
I hope so.
Yeah, we probably will. That's exciting. He's a huge part in Star Wars. He's a force to be reckoned with.
Isn't he the Blue Admiral?
Yes. If you've seen any of the like Star Wars Rebels, I think that's he's a huge part of that in that show. And it's crazy that he hasn't even been introduced into the live action. It's awesome that he's going to be in it now. I think we're going to see him a lot in Ahsoka.
Yeah.
So we should see him. That's going to be really cool to see.
Yeah, I saw some theories on that too. I want to go back to Jacob's original question earlier. He said, "Do we have any predictions of the final episode?" I don't know. This is a shot in the dark, but Grogu has been doing this a lot. He's been going back to old friends, sort of. He's kind of just like, "Hey, remember this?" And so I think there's one Mando. Yeah. There's one Mando that's missing out of this whole equation, and it's Boba Fett. Which is, where is he? He's at that planet. I'm blanking on the name. Tatooine, and he's probably got a private army right now. So he could bring that private army to support Mando. Because remember, in the season, Mando helped Boba gain control of Jabba the Hutt's palace. So he owes him one. So you never know. It's a shot in the dark. I don't think Boba Fett's going to be a part of it, but I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, and there's theories as well that have gone saying like that Grogu's going to be the Mandalorian, right?
Oh.
Because you have the dark saber, you have someone that's force sensitive, because how the dark saber came about is it was a Mandalorian who was force sensitive and learned the ways of the Force.
So Grogu wields the dark saber.
So that's what I'm saying. Not like he becomes a Mandalorian, but he does some shit like in the other Star Wars where he sticks his hand up and it's like, and like catches it, and then all of a sudden turns into like this.
Like a Captain America Marvel scene where it's like the hammers getting lifted up.
Yeah, it would be cool.
Oh my god, that would be so cool to have.
And then Grogu like puts his fist up.
And just go like full against like Chancellor.
Gets on his knees.
Yeah, exactly. He's been looking goofy ass, like jumping around and stuff this season. You're like, okay.
I think it's time to get rid of the puppets. Like it's such an old Star Wars thing. Like it's cool and all, but like I think it needs to be animated to look more real. Like they've already
get him on the test. Get him on a little TRT. Like he's 50. Like let's go. Like grow up.
Yeah.
Well, it's time to start aging, buddy. It's time to go into your preteens or something. Get in your rebel stage to where you're kind of like, oh, I'm a Jedi, but I'm also a Mandalorian, and screw you, Din Djarin or something. Like I don't know. Like get into your rebel phase.
Start choking people out or something.
Pause.
Yeah.
Pause.
Looks.
Box and stuff and start throwing some stuff.
I also think this last episode is going to tell us how much Disney has bought into Pedro Pascal. Because didn't they get into a little scuffle earlier this year about the series?
It actually started at the beginning of Mandalorian. Like,
which
so
Pedro's a weird guy, by the way.
He is, but like wacky. He is, but I don't think he's that tough to work with. There's like I've heard mixed stories, so I'm not really sure. I mean, obviously I haven't worked with him because I'm not an actor or something, but I mean, shit, like but they said, there's a couple differences between like Jon Favreau and Pedro Pascal and Kathleen Kennedy and Disney all going around saying that they wanted to pay Pedro for voice acting because he's not the actual person behind the suit. It's these other two guys that are basically stuntmen that know how to work in a suit and know how to work pistols and stuff. Gunslingers, basically. They know how to handle weapons. And so they were like, let's we want to give you just a voice acting thing because you're not going to be in a suit that much. And Pedro was like, no, I don't want to be a voice acting I don't want to be paid as a voice actor. I want to be paid the premium as a actual actor. So that's the only reason why his face was in the last episode of the first season and then the second season as well. So that's the only reason why he was paid as an actual actor. So that was one of the reasons why he was like, that's one of the reasons why, they had a scuffle, I guess, or whatever. But this season, I don't know what it was. Jon Favreau had a huge vision to, go into this season as like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to have all this stuff. And Disney and Kathleen Kennedy came in and they, had arguments and stuff. And they were like, no, it should be more like this. And so that's when Jon Favreau said, I'm going to screw it. I'm going to leave, screw all this Star Wars stuff. I love it, but I can't, work under these conditions if they're going to keep messing with my scripts, And so that's why this season is so, Pedro's put in the background because, I'm sure there's other things that there's some other things that people haven't really come out and said, but all we know right now is that they've had differences. And that's why that Pedro has been put in the background. Bo-Katan's been highlighted this season.
Yeah. Which I've kind of been like, I don't know, that kind of bothers me is like that's why I think like Bo-Katan is probably going to die or something because I think they're going to try to get back to him being the Mandalorian and whatnot because and I feel like I keep going into these theories, but I was reading something about originally in Star Wars Rebels, when it's Sabine Wren that had the Darksaber and gave it to Bo-Katan. Well, Bo-Katan tried to rule Mandalore via the Darksaber, even though she didn't win it in combat, and then lost and quote unquote cursed Mandalore, because in the old ways it says, if you don't defeat its previous owner via combat, you don't really regain ownership to the Darksaber, right? And so now that's happening again, right? It was given to her because really she didn't win it in combat. She won it from some type of bylaw loophole that, Din Djarin was like, yeah, she did whatever, but really she didn't. And so that's where I think she's going to, quote unquote, curse, the Mandalorians again. And so I think that's how they end up, I think that's how she ends up dying, is because of the quote unquote curse of Darksaber.
I think it's a good point, because after everything you just explained, I just made a Game of Thrones reference earlier. I'm going to make one again. I mean, in season 8, all you heard was, and this has kind of been Mando's role in this series. He's kind of been the number 2. He's been by her side. She's been called out by the armorer and saying you're going to unite both sides. Basically, you're going to break the wheel, in Game of Thrones. And you got your yes man, Jon Snow or Mando, next to you. And so leading up towards the end, she goes down a path that's basically filled with bad juju. Bo-Katan didn't actually win it through combat. She's going to try and rule Mandalore, but it's cursed because technically she still hasn't won it. So so I think what'll happen is a great possibility. I don't think it'll happen, but I think it's a great possibility is Bo-Katan could die, and then Mandalorian has to take up the mantle. Maybe there's no one else to do it, so I think it would be Mando.
Yeah,
but it's kind of similar.
I think you're. I think it's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I mean that's. Yeah,
sorry,
go ahead, sir. I was waiting on you, and then you kind of stopped talking. I was like,
yeah. Sorry. So, I was gonna say, I think in the last episode, I think that obviously Mandalorian's been captured. I think that Bo-Katan's obviously going to go back, and there's going to be some battle between him, Moff Gideon, and Bo-Katan, and some kind of assault where they come in, try to save Din Djarin. But I can't say what else is going to happen because I really haven't thought about it much because this season's just been such a letdown. I guess I haven't. Usually I would think into it, but this season it's just obviously there's going to be a fight between them, and I don't know who's going to win. And Rebels, which is in kind of the future of Mandalorian. I don't know. I think it's in the future at least. No, it's not actually. It's in the past.
Yeah, it's in the past.
So yeah. So then, this makes sense. So who knows? Because whenever Sabine Wren, I guess, gave the sword to Bo-Katan in Rebels, I guess she lost it again when she gave it to Moff Gideon. And then after that, this is where it leads. So I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
Moff Gideon too, as well, is just an actor that it is. He's from Breaking Bad and everything, so it's not like an actor you kill off so quickly. So
he's a pretty badass bad guy.
They'll drag it out as long as they can with him.
I do like him as he's pretty good. I like him as a bad guy. I think he's really sinister and smart, like a bad guy is. A bad guy should be. So I think he's a good fit in the Star Wars universe. That's for sure.
Yeah.
As we could see from the last 2 seasons. But I think this should be the end of him. I don't know why they keep dragging him on to be the villain, but I think it should have really ended in season 2. But obviously, there's some things going on behind the scenes that nobody knows about yet.
Yeah. Well, I didn't think this season was that bad. I do agree that there's some filler stuff, but if there's stuff going on with the producers and the writers and the actors. Like, it's obviously going to show. But like I said, I don't think the Bo-Katan storyline is terrible. But I think
I don't either.
I think it's but I think it's similar like the Bad Batch that they do in the Star Wars universe. Is like once like kind of the side characters and they do it in a lot of these different series. Once the side characters start getting a little too much screen time, right? Gone. Like have you watched the Bad Batch? I don't want to ruin any spoilers.
I've seen it.
Yeah, I've not seen it. But go ahead. I probably won't be able to watch it.
Travis, you know what I'm talking about. The one individual that gets way too much screen time and it starts making about him and showing his emotions, and then all of a sudden he's dead.
And then Society.
Yeah. I mean, you could see it. You can see it coming from a mile away. It's like it started happening, and then it was like, that's weird. And then in that one episode where that girl, the girl keeps flirting with him, and he's like, oh no, and then it's, I don't know. He's being very spacey, and then he just walks away. It was like, something's gonna happen to him because he didn't say anything to her, and that's it. And then something happened.
Yeah, and then thank you, Amanda. And then like Paz Vizsla or whatever it was, like
who the hell is this?
Like you notice, like he had a couple episodes that were kind of about him, and he's been getting a lot of screen time and yada yada, and then all of a sudden, spoiler alert, done. And so it's like you see the main characters, like they kind of stick around, except if they do something that's not woke, and then they get kicked out of the first season. And then Travis knows what I'm talking about. And then
talking about.
Jared, you frozen? Oh, Jared's there. Okay.
No, I was still, bro. I was like,
yeah, he was locked in. But like the main characters stay, and you see like if a side character comes in for like a second and has a couple episodes, like they're gone, and it's in like all these different series. It does that, and so yeah, idiot.
12 feet under. Let's fucking go.
That's why I think.
All right, go ahead.
That's why I think Bo-Katan is going to be Dunsky. And then I read another theory where like her brother is like the spy because he's like a mercenary, he does whatever for money. So if he's going to be if somebody can pay him off, then like why would he not? So and like he's pissed off because his sister just whooped his ass in combat and whatnot. So took over his what's the song the 49ers play when they run out?
I do not
running
know
your trap, pick up your trap kind of thing. Like that's what she did.
Oh yeah. What do y'all? Yeah, I don't know if it's just me, but y'all think that Bo-Katan and Din Djarin have kind of had like a little thing going on, like an unspoken thing, or do y'all think it's just business? Because I ship them.
You what?
I hope them. SHIP. Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be some movement to introduce
yeah, I know where you're going.
You know how Disney does it, so I'm sure there'll be something.
Yeah. You know what? Bo-Katan's gay. Yeah.
That would be so mad because Bo-Katan is such a pretty woman. Like,
yes, she is.
She does. Like, I was like, damn. Like watching her like walk to go save Mando at Mandalore. You're just like, I rewinded. I think like 7 times. I'm gonna make this 32-minute episode about 45 real quick.
Yeah, so that's where earlier when Ruben said Bo-Katan with a question mark, that's what he was talking about. Yeah, that's what he was talking about. So, but yeah, I'm sure they're gonna do whatever they can to not make that a thing and make other things a thing. So,
Din Djarin's gay.
It's just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
Boba and Din Djarin are gay.
Exactly. So
for each other.
It'll be interesting, but I doubt that's a thing.
Probably too aliens.
But yeah, they've quickly made Mando like secondhand after he's been like the alpha, like the dog the whole time. and they've quickly like introduced a female character and been like, "Hey, backseat, bitch." Like,
Yeah.
it's like okay.
Yeah, that's true. So, I mean, I wish it wasn't so. I don't know why they had to do it, but anyway, this season's been probably my least favorite just because of all these side episodes, but side quests.
Do we have any closing remarks or any final theories or statements before we exit?
No.
Just next up, this last episode has to be like 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, bump the ratings up just a little bit with this last episode, please. There has to be, if it's the finale and it's 40 minutes, you know,
somebody's got to die.
Somebody better die.
It needs to be right after the previews goes. It needs to be go. Like, it needs no like 10 minutes to build it up. Just what's happening. Go. Where's Moff Gideon? Where's Mando? And get rolling. We're using all the 39 minutes. And I don't want 7 minutes of of credit scenes, not post credit scenes, but just credits. I want like 2. And it's like
I don't want to see some 7 minutes, some nerd sitting there on a computer that made whatever canon art. I don't care. I just watched an episode that showed all these in live motion. I don't need a still picture of it for me for 7 minutes after the show. And so I did read somewhere the producer, the 2 producers, whatever their names are, I can't remember right now, but they said like people are going to be like sad, or there's going to be an array of emotions after this episode. So I'm taking that as bodies are about to fall, and that's I hate that, but that's what it needs.
I'm sure it just means Grogu's captured, and then we're back to square one. We're going after Grogu in season 4, and we're like, well, we did this already, so
yeah. Just kill him already. I don't care. He's a Jedi anyway. Just die. Just kill him. I'm just kidding.
Kill him, Jaro.
Just give him back to Luke Skywalker. Make him go train to be the next Yoda. I don't know. I think that's the best thing to do. Why do you have to leave and bring him back to make Mando a P word? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is
100% one of y'all's friends.
It's got to be.
And so. Anyway,
new podcast next week to be announced on our Instagram.
It would be cool if like Mando like went full like Joel in Last of Us, and just this last scene like gets pissed off and is just like all of a sudden he becomes a Mandalorian we know he is again, and just like vroom, 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 controls the lightsaber, starts piecing dudes up, just zoom, pause. Boom, 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 boom.
Oh yeah.
That's what I was hoping for. I was hoping that by this season we would see, because it was what 2 years from the time we saw him last. That's what they said from Boba Fett when they first got back together. It was been 2 years, so I was hoping like we would see Mandalorians have some sort of progress with using that damn Darksaber. But no, it's still heavy. He can't use it.
Yeah, or like I need Grogu like crushing a cruiser or something. Like I need something. Like we've got to be a little bit more violent than just killing some random animal on a thing that stole your son. Like we've got to get more violent. I need some heads rolling.
Yeah. Let's see some decapitations. Let's go.
I need like
you should have signed with HBO if you wanted some heads rolling. Disney ain't gonna roll no heads.
I need like in what is it, the Twilight movie, where they both run at each other, and then all of a sudden you see the guy like holding his head in like his hand and just like drops it. I need something like they start flying at each other, and then Moff Gideon like lands and holds like Bo-Katan's helmet. It's like
I mean, read the Jango Fett scene in it.
What you gonna do?
Yeah. Like something. I need something. Just
bring back Mace Windu. Make him come back and kill Moff Gideon. Black on black crime. No.
he walks into the show and he goes, "You took my fucking son, motherfucker."
Yeah.
He comes in. He's actually evil. Destroyed everybody.
I don't know if you heard me. I just blanked a little bit, but
no, we heard.
I was doing like Samuel L. Jackson mother effort line, and then my computer went ooh, 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 became a Decepticon for about 3 seconds. All right, but
no, it would just be cool to see like a lot more action, because they've shown like Mando's skills, like more of his skills this season, but it's always been like very limited. Like it's like, oh, and it'll be like
No,
you
we
know,
don't. I don't.
just like one every other episode, and it's just like we need some violence, please.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
looking
but
forward.
Disney's
I'm looking
too
forward
scared.
to it. You know, with all things being said, I'm looking forward to the last episode. So,
Oh yeah,
I mean,
let's go.
Yeah.
it's the Mandalorian. It's Star Wars. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, it's. I was telling somebody this the other day, but I was like, I was ranting because I was so pissed off of all these shows that came out that I was excited for that just ended up being so bad, and let's see, because like Boba Fett came out, I was like, oh, this is gonna be very good. It ended up being like just. It was so bad. It was just so cheesy, so bad. And then Obi-Wan came out. Like that was gonna be. I was my most anticipated show. I wanted to watch. Came out. It was just again. It was cheesy and like not really what we wanted. Didn't make any sense. It just kind of. I don't know. It was dumb. But the last episode was, of course, very good because it was kind of what we wanted. But then the last part was still cheesy. And there are some cheesy things. And I don't know why Star Wars has to be so cheesy, but. Or they maybe need to get better writers or something, but damn. I think the best show that came out unexpectedly was Andor. Andor was very good. Very good.
I need to rewatch it. I didn't do a good job of paying attention to it when I was watching it.
It wasn't like your typical Star Wars thing. It was like, oh, it's Star Wars, but this is more of like this is just kind of a story. It didn't really have to do anything with Star Wars too much.
The older guy, the doctor from Thor, Dr. Selvig, I heard he kind of stole the show.
He was very good in it. Very good. Yeah. See? Yeah. Andor's so good.
And it's one of those, like, you could watch it and, like, you could watch the whole thing and it wouldn't be, it's not like a typical, like a Star Wars. Like, you could watch it and be like, oh yeah, I guess that is Star Wars because it's in that era, but like there's no lightsaber type stuff, no force, no nothing like that. It's all just very. It's like I don't know how to word it. It's like a
political espionage sort of deal.
Yeah, and it's like a slow build up the whole time. Like there's not like a high and low, and it's not just like boring. Like you could just see like it's like a simmer the whole time. Like it just constantly goes, like get you to the point to where it's like, oh shit, here we go.
I do like I like the theme song for Andor too. The theme song for it is pretty good. I think it's like really nice and calm, and then I don't know. It's very Star Wars, and it's very I just like how it goes. It sounds very good.
Yeah. The actor that plays Cassian Andor, I knew it was going to be good. I've watched it very briefly. I was like working on homework when I was watching it, so it was like different. I didn't pay good enough attention. But the actor was from Narcos Mexico, so I'm like, dog, like,
yeah,
you and Narcos, like, you got my respect.
Yeah, and we got two people from Narcos in there now, Pedro Pascal and that dude.
Oh yeah.
So
Pedro Pascal.
Pedro.
All right. Well, I think. What do you think? That covers it all? Anything else we want to talk about? Amanda, any final comments?
Brandon, Dusty, any final comments? Let's go. So there's a guy that commented in here. His real name is Dusty Farmer, like the guy that's named.
Oh, Dusty Farmer. Yeah, this guy.
That's his name. That's not like a made up.
It's not
name.
A burner.
No.
I know this one guy. His name is Cutter. I'm like, what? Be Cutter raw.
Yeah.
Cut it.
But yeah, next time we get on, we need to talk some baseball for real.
Yeah, I'm down. Yeah.
Rangers beat that ass.
Yeah. Who is Amanda? Because we know who is David. Brandon.
Brandon David.
We know that it's Brandon David May. Wayne Brandon David May.
Brandon Travis David May.
Brandon Travis Wayne ass
Brandon Wayne
May.
David May.
That guy's name is actually Paul Albert Brandon David. So he does have 4 names.
Damn.
Okay, you're welcome, Amanda.
You're welcome. You have a great night.
Yeah, but yeah, next time, next time for sure, we gotta get on here and talk some shit about baseball, especially since the Rangers won a series for the first time in 2008 since 2008.
Praise God. Yeah,
First grand slam at Minute Maid Park.
We'll coordinate something per usual. I have another guest that wants to come on who's new, Snowflake. So we're gonna see if old Jay Mondick can get on, and then we'll talk some baseball. Maybe do it the same podcast, but we'll coordinate it and get the ball rolling because I think next week will be the draft. So we're trying to do maybe a conjuncted one where everyone joins and talks about Cowboys draft, just like even if it was like a beat-up setting or whatever. We're all like, hey, let's go, whatever, So because it's always interesting to talk Cowboys when we're all Cowboys fans. So Snowflake is also a Cowboys fan. So
he is.
Oh my God, really? But yeah, we'll coordinate something because I'm always down to talk baseball.
That would be good.
All right. Well, appreciate you both
man.
hopping on. It was a fun podcast. Always fun talking about Star Wars. Our theories sound phenomenal. We'll get tomorrow and we'll see something we've never seen before in our lives. So
I hope so.
I hope so. That's what we're hoping.
I hope it's good. That's all I'm hoping for. But I hope people die. So
next podcast, Amanda. Also, you just said good night. So fair enough.
Oh, okay.
all right, boys.
All right.
Take it easy.
Farewell, brother.
Farewell.
Thank you, Big T.
Brother.
Of course. That was great. It was fun.
Later, Travis. And Jeremy.
Later.
Later, fellas. All right, so that was track 16 with the medical guy and Big T. The kid was on here for the majority of the podcast. Who will be rejoining on our next episode next week, midweek probably is when we'll start. We got the wedding coming up at the end of April. So, and the draft, I believe, is the 25th or 26th. So we will see. Keep an eye on our Instagram, trak.pod, trak.pod. Go on there. Check it out. Most of our content is on there and TikTok. Our Twitter is active on retweeting, not much so as replying. So keep it up, fellas. Thank you all for the support.